Cushman, the legend in the plans. Please listen every day to the showcase. The opinions and knowledge that anyone can take. Showing you how it is done. Proving I am number one. What a legend becomes. This is now my time to show you that I am here. This podcast just to make it loud and clear. By the fans, for the fans. Not many whose head can understand everything pro wrestling. It can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson. Yes.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to Everything Pro Wrestling.
Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here today to talk about AEW Dynamite June 3rd, 2020. I hope everyone is having an excellent evening. Thank you guys so much who are here to join me and talk about pro wrestling and everything else that's going on right now. You guys are truly, truly appreciated. We're going to go through the entire show, card top to bottom. But first, if this is your first time watching, do me a favor. If you guys like what you're seeing from Everything Pro Wrestling, hit the like button for me. It really helps out, helps more people see the video in the YouTube algorithm, and it's greatly appreciated. If you're watching this after the fact, leave me a comment. I want to hear what you thought of tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Good, bad, or indifferent. Tell me what you thought of the show down below. And one last thing, guys, check out some of the links down below. The links have some really good things in there for you guys to check out. We have all of the podcast links. You guys can find this and listen to this also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast on. Just type in Everything Pro Wrestling and you're more than likely going to find us. So make sure you guys do that as well if you guys want to listen to us on the go or if you want to catch back up on an episode. And tonight's show is also sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped, right now they are offering the Lawnmower 3.0. It is the tool to help clean your family jewels. If you guys want to clean up those family jewels, do me a favor. Use my promo code EPWShow to get 20% off and free delivery. You guys can get some of these other cool things that they have to offer, like the crop mop, the crop cleanser, the foot duster, the refined cologne, and the plow 2.0. These things are all worth it. I do have the actual Lawnmower 3.0 right here. This thing is a powerful tool. Men can use it. Ladies can use it. Anybody can use it. It's pretty simple. Got a nice grip, nice texture on it. Everything is smooth. And even when you turn it on, got a little light on it for you. If you're, I don't know why you'd be doing this in the dark, but you have a light on it as well. So tonight's episode is sponsored by Manscaped. Also, our good friends at Powerslam.tv, same promo code, use EPW Show, get 1 month free and watch independent pro wrestling on your friends at Everything Pro Wrestling. So I appreciate that as well. And shout out to my good friends, Everything College Basketball. I know they're going to be getting a podcast up soon, and I'm looking forward to seeing what retro episode they bring up. So check out Everything College Basketball. Now, I know some of you are wondering, where is Derek? Derek is not here tonight. There has been a curfew put in place in Buffalo, New York, so Derek is unable to attend tonight's review, but that's all right. You got your boy, Conrad Cushman, here, so we're going to take care of everything. Hopefully, we can get Derek up in the chat here, if he could pop in eventually. But other than that, man, that we're doing what we got to do tonight. We're going to have lots of conversations, and you guys are really going to enjoy tonight's show. So, without further ado, let's talk some AEW Dynamite. But before we do, I gotta show some love to the chat. Shout out to everybody on YouTube checking us out. We got my man Original Biggie Obi-Wan. What's going on, Biggie? Saw your WWE feedback review. Good stuff, my brother. Rob is in the house. What's going on, Rob? Rob in here making jokes. Connor is in the house as well. What's good, Connor? Let's see here. B-Boy Skyline writing solo mode. Rob writing solo dolo. That is correct, gents. My man Jesus DeLeon. What's going on? Good man. What? No, damn no Derek trash. What's that, bro? What's that supposed to mean? We used to do this without Derek. We're gonna be fine. We'll be all right. Let's see here. Remember to join the Derek order. Sick, what's going on, brother? Good to have you in here, my man. Truly the ace. What's good? What's good? B-Boy Skyline said, I use that code. It's a good product. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Right in time for the ball upkeep. I love it. I love it, man. I needed these laughs tonight. I'm trying to get you those Raycon and Dr. Squash sponsorships, dude. Hey, keep putting the name in, bro. They'll eventually hear it. If you guys want me to sponsor certain products, that's what it's going to be. Chris DeZuba, only Conrad. You damn right. And that's just what it's going to be. Lauren, what's going on? Good to see you in the live chat. Justin Hollis, what's happening, Justin? Good to have you on here, brother. I'm very interested to hear what you thought of tonight's show as well. We're doing really good. If anybody comes in after the fact, man, don't forget to tell them, hit that like button, help your boy out. And I am just trying to get a little update here on the phone. All right, there we go. So we're going to go over AEW. Let's start right now with the intro package to the show. We had a nice Black Lives Matter intro. I thought it was very well done. AEW has done a tremendous job when it comes to talking about Black Lives Matter. Very impressed with it. And normally, you guys know me, I don't get into politics and everything like that on this show. But if you stick around towards the end, there won't be questions tonight because we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter at the end. So if you guys want to talk about it with me, stick around. It's going to be a good conversation. We also start off the AEW Dynamite show with a recap of everything that happened last week. I think tonight they did a really good job of bringing up everything that was happening at the time. Just lots of recaps, keeping you up to date on what's going on. And it was just different, you know, like I wouldn't say different, but they did a lot of recapping tonight to make sure this is what's going on. This is the current feud. This is the storyline. This is where we're going with it. So very refreshing to see them trying to make sure the viewer knows what's going on. They did a good job with this. And I know that's something they were criticized for when they first started up, but I think they've been just getting better and better at it. So good to see the recap. And we also had a rundown of the entire card from Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur. They were the announce team for tonight. They just go through all of the matches that we're going to talk about now. And what is going on? Rockstar, see you in here, man. AEW tag team titles kick off the night. We had Adam, Hangman Page, and Kenny Omega defending their titles against the team of Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc with Penelope Ford in their corner. This match was quite interesting. I know that Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc were one of those tag teams. They weren't ranked. What are we doing here? Why is this happening? I get it. A lot of people had those issues when it came down to it. As a tag team, Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc are 3-1. Not really too much to complain about. They got a match against SCU. They defeated SCU, moved up in the rankings. I'm okay with this. They needed some time in between because the best friends are not getting their tag team title shot until Fyter Fest. And we'll talk more about that in a second. When it came down to this, though, the best friends were shown in the crowd. They are watching this tag match. Obviously, they're going to scout the champions before they face them. And also, we saw way in the back, kind of away from everybody else, we saw FTR, which is the former Revival from the WWE. They came in last week, and they were watching this match as well. Interesting. So they're scouting all the tag teams, too. And this brings up some very good points and possible future storytelling, which we're going to get into, which I saw Ace just bring up about FTR. We're going to talk about that. And yes, we'll talk about that as well. Jordan, I see what you wrote in the chat about QT Marshall. We're going to talk about him too. So when we get into this, the entire matchup started off pretty well, exactly what you expected, with some good wrestling going on here, and then eventually they do the distraction spot where Penelope Ford is going to come off the top, hit her Hurricanrana, and she goes for it on Hangman Page, but this time she gets caught. Hangman Page is holding her, and the referee, Rick Knox, sees this, and he says, "Whoa, what are you doing? Drop her." And he just drops her down, and she falls. Little comedy spot there. And when she gets out of the ring and starts to roll out towards the apron, Rick Knox boots her out because she always gets involved in the match anyway. So they had the official kind of look like he knew what was going on here. Not mad at it at all. So we get into back into the match. And we get some good back and forth here. I was really impressed by Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc's offense here. I thought they did a really good job keeping up with the tag team champions. And here's the crazy thing. So I was watching this match, and I was looking at how smooth Kenny Omega was in the ring. And Kenny Omega's hitting these spots, sliding. And I'm like, man, he looks so, like, fluid in the ring. And then I'm looking at Hangman Page, and I'm like, Hangman Page is a great character, man. But I don't know if he can move in the ring like Kenny Omega. And instantly, I had to eat my words, because Hangman Page is one of the best at doing that standing flip over shooting star press. He just ran up and he just makes it look so smooth when he does it. Hangman Page then went on to hit a flurry of moves that looked amazing. They go back and forth with these two here, but in the end, Havoc falls to a buckshot lariat V-trigger combo, and he gets pinned for the 1-2-3. The tag team champs come out on top. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'm glad that Hangman Page and Kenny Omega pick up another win here. I don't know if the story's still going on. I feel like Hangman Page and Kenny are kind of back on the same page, and they're right with each other, and things are going well. Maybe Hangman Page doesn't like the rest of the people in the Elite for watching BTE and everything else, but everything seems to be going great for the tag team champions at this point. The next question is, what happens when the best friends face them? We'll have to wait and see. This is going to be interesting. I don't even want to hear this. Let me see. Rob said, Nyla Rose just destroyed Ford on Twitter. Quote, Sabian and Havoc are as great as a team as one has a ring wrench and the other a ring wrench. Terrible. Excuse me, not wrench, wench. Terrible, Rob. Nyla Rose, great Twitter account. Give her a follow if you want. Good stuff here. Ace says for now. I thought this was a good tag team match, though. I was happy with what Page and Omega did here. Very interested. So, let's talk about Fyter Fest, guys. Fyter Fest, we find out, is going to be a 2-night event. So, it's going to be taking place on July 1st and July 8th. We see, I noticed this from the little graphic that popped up down below. I was like, okay, so it's going to be a 2-night event. We can get down with this. This is what it's going to be, right? 2-night event. Is it going to be like last year's? Is it going to be set up like that? I'll say this. I, for one, appreciate these special Dynamite episodes. They're like miniature pay-per-views until you get to the next pay-per-view. So I like the fact that they were adding things in like Bash at the Beach and Fyter Fest. Bring these on, man. And in all honesty, I would love to see them promote a special event for everything that's recently happened. I know last year they did an event for no guns and everything in Jacksonville, and I thought that was another great idea. So I love these events. These are really fun. Put on a great card, give some people some fun matches to do, and I'm sure that people will see it. I really miss live crowds being there for the events. I know that they're having the noise and stuff in the background. I just miss the energy of the people, though, too. I want to hear the crowd roar like a full arena. You can't beat it. But we're stuck in these times for right now. Who knows how long it's going to be like this, but I can't wait till we get back to going to wrestling events and just enjoying everything that happens in the pro wrestling world. Just a little miniature thing. Let's see here. We're getting some comments. Connor said they deleted the tweet I sent you. Let's see. Jesus said, I like this tag match really good. Glad Omega and Page won. B-Boy Skyline said, it's not the same without CEO. Yeah, but you can't do anything with him right now, Jordan. Good point, though. Connor said, I went back and it's deleted. Okay. All titles will be defended, Jesus says, at the pay-per-view. B-Boy Skyline says they got to bring some video game into it at Fight for the Fallen. Hopefully they could do an announcement by then, too, for the AEW video game. We've been waiting and waiting. I just want to know who's making it, like what's happening with it. Hopefully they can give us some details soon. Jesus says maybe, but it'd have to be in August if they do, Conrad. I hear you. Ace says we all know who will win, Brian Cage versus Moxley. Well, you never know. Never count your chickens before they hatch, brother. We'll have to see. We'll get into that match soon, though. So we got the dates for Fyter Fest, 2-night event. They go to the Tully Blanchard promo. If you guys did not see Tully Blanchard cut this promo with and on Shawn Spears, it was something truly remarkable, my brothers. When you see this, Tully Blanchard had the fire and passion. Dude, he made me feel like I was in the NWA studio when he started yelling and going after Shawn Spears. And I love the fact that Shawn Spears said nothing and he stayed quiet and he listened. Very key, very important. Showing character development, I feel like, for Shawn Spears. Now, they end up showing Tully afterwards. They don't show the entire promo. They just say, you guys have to check it out. I think it was uploaded onto social media and Twitter. And so they decide to go in to the car. And there's a briefcase, I guess we'll call it, where he opens it up and says he has a gift for Shawn Spears. He gives him a black glove. Now, this is like those classic black gloves with the fingers are cut out and you can see his fingers. And it's kind of like those old school biker gloves. And I'm wondering if he's going to have like a gimmick similar to wrestlers that used to load up the glove with punches. I think Shawn Spears has it, and I think they've recognized it. Shawn Spears is just missing that one factor to get these victories over other people. And you got to remember, Shawn Spears is also trying to get up there with people like Darby Allin, MJF, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, people who a lot of wrestling fans and I would say a lot of the decision makers in AEW feel like are the next stars of AEW. Where does Shawn Spears fit into that? I know a lot of people say Shawn Spears isn't doing anything more than he was in WWE. I disagree. He was not featured when he was on SmackDown. He was never used on the show enough to the point to where I thought his crowd reaction was for. I think that you could have really did something with the 10 gimmick and they blew it. And now AEW is capitalizing on this. I think Shawn Spears is a great coach. He's someone that you want in there with your newer wrestlers. Let Shawn Spears lead the way. And hopefully this glove can give him some power and help him get some victories in AEW going forward. And JR brought up the fact that a lot of legendary people have had the glove as well. So we'll see. Let's see what the chat is saying right now about this. We're getting some early predictions. Broken said Moxley is winning at Fyter Fest. Jesus says they are about to rebuild Shawn Spears and hopefully they get it right. A said the AEW action figures are coming. They are. If you guys are interested in action figures or if you're a collector, you guys are going to want to make sure that you get those. I think Ringside Collectibles has them right now for pre-order still. B-Boy Skyline says Shawn Spears chops are epic. Yeah, ask my boy Chris Van Vliet. Jesus De Leon said yes. Yeah, he needs to get more big W's. True. B-Boy Skyline says Shawn Spears has the the pace. Not repeating that. Yeah, he has the glove now, so we're gonna see what he does with it. They go back over the Tyson Jericho pull apart brawl. It feels like some people weren't feeling this and some people liked it. I think it was a rehash of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mike Tyson from 1998. Did that work back then? Yes. Did it work better than it did on AEW? Yes. But Mike Tyson's a big name, and I think it got the attention AEW wanted. Not a big fan of people backstage having their phones out, kind of ruining the segment a little bit after the fact. Hopefully they don't let people do that again going forward. But they really ramped it up and made it feel like a big deal with Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho. And I think we're going to get an angle out of this between the two of them. I'm interested in it. I want to see what they do with this. I like I said, I have no complaints. It was a media move. AEW got their name out there on ESPN and other sports apps. No complaints for me. I think they did the right move here. I know some people won't like it. And listen, my favorite part of it is when Vince is on the apron and he yelled, "You ruined it, damn it!" And I really thought we could have got a spot like that from Cody or somebody. "You ruined this, damn it!" And taking a swipe at Jericho. Good stuff though. Like I said, it's smart promotion. It's gonna get your name brought up out there. It doesn't matter who wins. Honestly, it's probably gonna be Tyson, but who cares? Chris Jericho is putting AEW's name onto bigger spotlights. Everyone's asking, where's Mike Tyson gonna fight next? Who's he gonna fight? And if they hear he's fighting in AEW first, what's this? I should check this out. I think it's a good business move for money, at least. Let's see here. Casey, what's going on? Casey is not feeling it. For Sean Spears, he put Z's next to it. He says, Casey also says, though, he cannot wait for the figures to come out, the action figures. Sean Spears is a future TNT champion, Ace says. And Casey puts up the muscle for our boy Iron Mike Tyson. He was a bad man back in the day, man. He was Mr. Pay-Per-View before Brock Lesnar was in UFC, man. Next match, we get a squash match here, basically, with the Machine, Brian Cage with Taz versus Shawn Dean. This was a squash match. Cage dominates, powerbombed into the corner, hits the drill claw for the 1-2-3. That's it. Taz then cuts a promo on Moxley, and Taz just goes through and says that Cage is ready for him. And the only thing he leaves Moxley with is the classic, and if what is it? Beat him if you can, and survive if he lets you. Moxley's music hits, and that's when I was like, oh, here we go. This is what I wanted to see. And Moxley comes out with the AEW Championship. I love that he carries it around everywhere he goes proudly. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Moxley comes out with the championship, and he says that he's ready for Cage, and he wants him to bring the fight when it comes to Fyter Fest. And I think this is going to be a hell of a matchup between these two. There's a story to tell here, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. This is going to be a heck of a fight, and I think we saw some things later on too that I don't know if people caught on to. I sure hope they did, but if they missed it, they might have missed something very important to the storyline here. But Moxley says he's ready for a fight, and he wants to go up against Cage. Grab myself a quick drink here. Excuse me. We get another promo backstage. Lots of promos tonight. This is exactly what I was talking about. Lance Archer is backstage, and he's just beating someone up in the middle of I don't know if they were doing construction or if it was a demolition site or what, but Lance Archer is beating the crap out of some random dude, and Alex Marvez is there to get a word, and Jake the Snake's just looking on like, yo, whose dad is this? Like, why aren't you helping this guy as he's getting beat up? But it's pro wrestling, and he's instructing him, and here comes Alex Marvez, and Archer immediately cuts him off from whatever he's talking about and just starts going into one loss does not define me. And it sounds like he's going to be on a warpath right now until he gets... It sounds like they're waiting to set up his next feud is what I got from this. And he is ready for whoever he has to face next. I think Lance Archer is still in a good position. If you book him correctly, things can happen with Lance Archer. So I'm on the wait and see trail with him right now. We also get a segment backstage with Private Party, and they are backstage with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy shows up in the old school Hardy Boys outfit. He's like, hey, how you guys doing? You know, and he offers his help to Private Party. Said, hey, man, you guys are one of the best tag teams around. You remind me of me and my brother. And, you know, they're like, oh, too extreme. And they start doing the motions and the Hardy Boys things. Private Party came off as very entertaining here. Made me laugh. And they did a really good thing here. And Isaiah brings up the fact that he's like, hey, man. You know, if you guys want to chill, we could have a Hardy party. And, you know, Matt Hardy smiles at it. He's like, yeah, I'd like that eventually. And he said, if you guys ever need any advice, ask me. Matt Hardy then walks out and he sees Sammy Guevara coming by in a scooter. And this is for Derek since he's not here. The Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. And when he's walking by, he goes, hey, Sammy, how you doing? And Sammy Guevara kind of has his guard up and he was like, hey, we're cool, man. Nothing but respect. And Sammy just looks puzzled afterwards like, what just happened with that? So I think Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara's feud isn't over. I don't know what to make of that. And that's kind of a good question for the chat. What do you guys think of this Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara thing? I felt like, are they going to become like reluctant tag partners? Or is this just another plot for them to face off with each other? Interesting points here. Let's see. Chat. Broken puts hard eyes for Dakota. All you, brother. If you're feeling that, that's what you like. Truly the A says that's Jon Moxley's future. Six said I knew Cage was starting to adapt suplexes in his moveset with Taz as his manager. It's the only way to do it, honestly. Jesus said he loves the Moxley and Taz promo tonight. B-Boy Skyline wrote Hardy Party. Casey says he cannot wait for Mox versus Cage. Tiff is in the house. What's going on, Tiff? Tiff, I knew you were down with the Hardy Party. Your boys were making some big moves, man. And I have to say this, from BTE, I absolutely love EJ. I don't know why he cracks me up. Like, every time I see him, and he's like, guys, I'm EJ. This is my house. And they just always slam the gate on his face. Like, why do they treat this man like that? Really good stuff here. Broken Hardy. Terrible, Jordan. I saw what you wrote in there. Six said, what was up with the random guy in the lucha mask? Did Archer punk dude into wearing it before he gave him the hands or what? No idea. So Jesus says Matt's going to help Private Party. Jesus, I feel like they're going to be like the new trio. Matt Hardy and Private Party, and they're going to take on people. I guess maybe they'll call them the Hardy Party. Queen of the Indies said, yes, they are proud. Queen of the Indies is Tiff, by the way. And she said, yay, EJ fan. Yeah, I don't know why. Really good stuff, too, with EJ. I know that he had his boy playing the video games on there. He was in the BTE segment as well. I saw they had a tag team match on Dark. I have not gotten the opportunity to watch that yet with him and Mr. Lewis. Beans, what's going on, Beans? Good to have you in here. Not sure who Archer's next feud could be against, yet hope they find a good one for him. And yes, love the party on BTE lately. Yeah, I thought those promo segments were great with the bear and everything else. It was silliness, but fun. Just fun. Next, we get a TNT championship match package. We get one for Cody and Jungle Boy. I thought this was well put together for the amount of time they had to do it. It shows Cody and what the TNT championship means to him, but at the same time, it shows Jungle Boy and how he fought in a battle royal to get to this first championship match for himself. And Jungle Boy isn't going to take it. He's not going to take it lightly. And Cody has to be prepared for this because he said he's taking on all challengers. We'll go to that match later. Next up, we have Mr. Boom Boom, Colt Cabana, taking on Le Champion, Chris Jericho, with Hager and Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara comes out singing his theme. This is absolutely horrible. This is like somebody wearing the headphones who feels like they know all the words to a song, but they have no idea what they're talking about. This has been probably every single one of us at one point trying to learn the words to a song or thinking you're a good singer with the headphones on until you hear yourself with them off. Yeah, Sammy just terrible. Great heel work by him here. He sung it so badly that I didn't want to hear it anymore. Right on the scooter, too. Allie and QT are shown in the crowd flirting once again. They are dropping these subtle hints. I'm telling you, QT Marshall is getting destroyed by the Butcher and Blade. I just have that feeling. I feel like this is a setup, and he is going to get destroyed. Just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. I'm all for that, Conrad. I hear you, Jesus. Tip, thank you for the smile. The Queen of NE is also in the chat. What's going on, Queen? Appreciate you coming in here as well. Thank you guys so much. Let us get into Jericho and Colt Cabana, though. We talk about the Allie and QT thing, seeing them in the crowd. According to the announcers, they have never wrestled before, and that's crazy to think that they've both been in wrestling for this long and never had a match against each other. No Scotty Goldman versus Chris Jericho. Wild. But we see a fresh new matchup here, and surprisingly, I thought this was a really good match between the two. I felt like Colt Cabana and Jericho are older now, and they don't move like they did in 2003. I get that. I don't need them to. These guys entertained throughout the entire match. Colt Cabana using everything. Colt Cabana busted out an Asahi moonsault in this match. Like, he landed on Hager and Jericho at one point, and that led to Hager getting the cheap shot. But Colt Cabana really impressed me. He even got a little bit of a bloody mouth, and he said, "Oh, This is nothing. I like it. And I'm glad to see Colt getting a shot here on the main stage. He's someone who everybody probably always wondered, like, why wasn't this guy ever put on a bigger stage? And this is his opportunity now. So it's kind of fun to see that for him. And Chris Jericho, unbelievable his work rate still. This guy is really doing the best that he can. And I thought that he wrestled like a heel. He made you want to see him get beat in this. Chris Jericho throughout this match is basically benefiting from Jake Hager's cheap shots. They even built Hager up in this by making Jake Hager the bodyguard that he was before. Like, this dude is the muscle. He will take care of you. And he made sure that he took care of Colt, giving Jericho the advantage. Colt tries to come back, and the moment he tries to do something cute, he tried to run off the ropes with the classic, like lift your foot up to get more momentum. I don't know what it is. He ate a Judas Effect elbow. He goes down for the 1, 2, 3. Le Champion, Chris Jericho, picks up the victory here. This is more build up to what we talked about earlier with the Iron Mike Tyson matchup that they have been teasing so far with this. Jericho cuts a promo on Tyson, and he says that he wants a piece of Mike Tyson. He wants to fight Mike Tyson. I'm not going to repeat everything he said. I'm paraphrasing a lot of this. He says he wants the baddest man on the planet to come out here right now. He calls Tyson out, you think, right? But whose music hits? Orange Cassidy comes out, and he shows up. Orange Cassidy had a beef, if you remember last week, with the Inner Circle. Pride and Powerful just beat him down with, I don't know if it's oranges or baseballs in those socks, but they gave him a beat down, and it looks like this isn't over. I like it. Story continuation, things that matter. So he takes the beat down here, and he comes back out, and he's messing with Jericho with the hands in the pocket, and then he starts to evade them. He starts to roll out of the way. He's moving, and he slides right out of the ring into the Best Friends' arms. They pick him up and bring him over the rail. Best Friends are going to protect their boy, Orange Cassidy, and I like where this is going. P&P come out. They are upset. Orange Cassidy has once again pissed off the Inner Circle, and I like this, and this is going to be a great matchup when they get into the ring to lock up. This is good. This was a great tease. Like, it made me want to see, okay, well, what's the matchup going to be here? I think we could see Orange Cassidy versus Jericho eventually, and I think that would be an entertaining matchup. Give these guys 10-15 minutes, man. That's all they need, and they will put on some good things. Let's see here. Casey said, my mother tells me I have a beautiful voice. I'm sure Sammy's mother says the same thing. Shout out to Sammy Guevara's mom. Let's see here. Bean said they had a bit more of QT and Allie on the last Dark too. Yeah, I haven't checked that out yet, Beans. I'll have to go into that. Colt Cabana is going to join the Dark Order, Casey says. Yeah, he did get a flyer later on in the show. Let's see here. Derek said, yo, I'm here. What's going on, Derek? Missing you by the side tonight, obviously, to co-host the show, but I appreciate you being in here, brother. Truly the Ace says, what's going on to Derek? Derek put down that Dark Order hand symbol. Told you guys about this. Cut this out. It's a cult. It's a cult. I did say that for you tonight. The Spanish God. Sammy. So we find out more about Fyter Fest. So if someone in the chat can confirm this for me, please let me know. I know we have a lot of people who are on Twitter and everything else. Is Fyter Fest going to be July 1st, July 8th? We know that already. But is it at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Because I saw an ad that showed that. It was at 10 p.m. versus 8. I don't know what would be holding it up, though, during that time on July 1st and July 8th, because the NBA is not starting back until July 31st. So what is stopping this show from continuing on at that time? Casey said, Derek and I are officially friends now. I couldn't be happier. I'm happy for you guys. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad EPW brought people together. That's the point of this. Yeah. Let's see. Connor Devlin in the house. What's going on, Connor? He said, hey, my man, how are things? Stay strong, my brother. Shout out to Ireland. Lots of love for AEW. Thank you, Connor. I appreciate that, man. Connor said that's what I'm confused about. I know that's what we talked about in the tweet before. So yeah, the leaders in the chat, you guys are crazy. Love the chat tonight. You guys are on fire. If somebody brings it up, I will come back to that point. Let's move to Britt Baker's ridiculous promo. So Britt Baker gets like this Rocky montage promo of her, you know, being in the wheelchair and everything else. They show her kind of going upstairs and lifting 5-pound weights. I don't even know if they were 5 pounds. They look like they might have been 2.5. But they were going in on this promo. They had Rebel, aka Reba, when she calls her that, like helping her, trying to motivate her. They even had the AEW doctor there who absolutely can't stand Britt Baker because she's just like shoving him out of the way and everything else. The favorite part was, so she's trying to go up one of the wheelchair ramps, and when she's going up the ramp, they show like, you know, Rebel cheering her on, the AEW doctor cheering her on. Then they show Tony Schiavone's face. I lost it. These promos are good work for Britt Baker. I think that they do tremendous work for her. They make her just an unlikable heel for anybody who's just an average wrestling fan. Britt Baker doing her job puts a smile on my face when I see it. I'm sorry, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I have been corrected in the chat. I apologize. Connor says Fyter Fest was meant to be in London and I would have been there. I'm sorry, Connor. I feel the pain, brother. I feel the pain. Casey said the vignette was hilarious. Britt Baker is fantastic. And I will agree with Casey on that one. She did a really good job here selling it. And afterwards, they show Britt Baker in kind of like a golf cart. And it's called a Rolls Royce. But you spell Rolls, R-O-L-E apostrophe S. And then Royce. Still more play on words with all of this stuff. Rebel... Reba is the one driving it, and Britt Baker sitting in the back, all blinged out on it. So unlikable, thinking she's the queen of AEW, basically. And that is no pun intended to the two lovely ladies in the chat. Britt Baker is doing her job as a heel. Let's talk about Big Swole versus Nyla Rose. And I've got something to say about this match, too. Big Swole and Nyla Rose... I didn't know what I was expecting to when I went into this one. I kind of started off, I'm not going to lie, not paying attention. I was into my notes, trying to make sure everything was lined up right for you guys when we talk about this matchup tonight. Let's see here. Conrad, they edited it at, Tony Khan said on Twitter, same time as well, it will start Fyter Fest. So, are you confirming it's 10, Jesus, or is it at 8 p.m. Eastern Time? Let's see here. Do you think Adam Cole will re-sign for NXT? I don't see why not. He's the NXT champion. Rob said Britt Baker is gold in these segments. I don't see Adam Cole leaving NXT. He's got it good, man. He's got it made. There's nothing to complain about there. And that's just my 2 cents on it, too. Big Swole Nyla Rose. I wasn't paying attention to this, taking notes. I was just like, whatever happens with this one happens. And Big Swole started to stand out to me as I looked up, and then I put the notes down and I was watching this match. And there was something about Big Swole tonight that stood out. Big Swole tonight, I could say that I saw and felt hunger, if that makes any sense. Big Swole was there and she wants a bigger role in this company, and Big Swole wants to continue to get better. I can see it. I can smell it. I've felt it since the dark matches that she's had. I know Big Swole has something that she wants to bring to the table, and she showed it tonight, in my opinion. I thought that this match was good. I thought this was a good match for them both. Nyla Rose had to work her ass off in this match too to keep up, because I think she realized, hey, I'm starting to be outshined a little bit here. I got to do something more to step it up. And she did. And I'll say this, Big Swole came out looking good tonight, and Nyla Rose still looked like a beast in this. Nyla Rose ends up getting the victory with like a spine buster powerbomb, and she gets the 1-2-3. Nothing wrong with it. Big Swole, like I said, came out looking strong. I loved her offense tonight. And Nyla Rose still gets the victory, and I think Nyla Rose is eyeing Shida for a rematch for the AEW Women's Championship. They showed Shida like with she looked concerned when I saw her. She had kind of like a concerned look on her face, but she looked like she was trying to eye up Nyla Rose, saying like, I'm watching you still. And very interesting. Now, after the match, Tony Schiavone tried to interview Big Swole, but Britt Baker started to interfere. This goes back to the whole coffee spot. And, sorry, it felt like something was caught onto the lip there. The coffee spot with Big Swole comes all the way back into this now where, okay, is this going to be a big match going into All Out? I'm for it. I'm for this. Britt Baker, Big Swole. I liked the shit talking tonight they had between the both of them. I thought it was good. Britt Baker at one point during Big Swole's interview with Tony Schiavone tells her to back up the Rolls Royce. And she backs it right into the guardrail. MJF just looked like a jerk in the background. Just had to say that. They back into it, and then Big Swole's like, "What are you doing?" And she's basically like stealing her moment. And then Big Swole eventually goes underneath the ring, grabs a chair, and throws it over into the crowd, and goes into the crowd with it, and throws the chair at the Rolls Royce, missing Britt Baker. And she tells Rebel to pull off. Rebel pulls off, and they leave. Interesting. Like I said, this is going to be a match, and Big Swole just telling her, "You keep talking that mess. Let's do something about it." I want this match, and I think it'll be really good for All Out. So that's what I think we're going to get out of this. And Rob, I saw your message in the group. We're going to definitely talk about that here. Okay, so Jesus said that Fyter Fest is going to start at 8. Thank you, Jesus, for clearing that up for us. Connor, I appreciate you as well, staying on top of that. Let's see. Jesus back on Adam Cole. His wife could convince him to join. Well, they're not married yet either, Britt Baker and Adam Cole. I don't know if they're... I don't get into the wrestlers' relationships. I know they're dating. That's it. Rob says, I like the Yellow Ranger attire tonight. I saw that you wrote that in the group. That was a good thing you brought up. Britt Baker's segment was good, and hopefully they push Big Swole soon. I think they are, Jesus. I think she's going to get a pay-per-view match at All Out. Bean says a public Swole announcement. The women's division is getting good. Oh, okay, Beans. Beans is liking it. Didn't know Big Swole wasn't signed to AEW all this time. A lot of the women have weird contracts. I don't know if they start off like they're part-time and then they usually pick it up later. I don't know if they're signed to other promotions and everything else. I know that Big Swole's done some things with like the Mae Young Classic for WWE. I don't know what Big Swole had going on, but I'm just happy that she's in AEW. Let's see here. Connor says, do you not think Con Money Friends partner not persuade him because getting brought up to Raw or SmackDown means creative will I guess mess up the Undisputed Era basically. It could be. I mean, they haven't done anything wrong with you yet, but you're in Triple H's bubble. I guess it depends on how he looks at it. It's a personal thing. I mean, he's going to make good money. So, and we'll get into that too, more later about Adam Cole, because I'm going to talk about him in another video. Casey says, go Power Rangers. Love the Power Rangers. That was a great show growing up. Let's see here. More Yellow Ranger talk from Ace. Jesus says, oh yeah, they're just dating. Swole is full-time in AEW. Yeah, I know. I think at first maybe she wasn't, but she is now. So Swole in the house. We get a Darby Allin promo, and this is going back to the Cage and Taz stuff that I was talking about. Darby Allin seems like he still has issues with Cage and Taz. As I sip from the cup of doom here. This ain't over with Darby Allin and Cage. I want to see what they do. I really want to see what they do with this. I think Darby's going to get some revenge eventually on Cage and Taz. The question is when and where. Good to see this, though, from Darby. we get an interview. Now, I know a lot of you were excited about this, especially those in the chat that love tag team wrestling. The FTR, whatever you want to call them, F the Revival, Fear the Revolt, F the Rest, whatever you want to say for the name. FTR starts talking tag teams in AEW, and I'm not going to go over everything they said. They brought up a lot of team names. They felt refreshed. They felt like NXT days. I like the fact that they were talking about the Midnight Express. They were bringing up great tag teams. This is what wrestling fans want to see from them. They're an old school tag team. And I like the fact that Tony Schiavone brought up the Young Bucks. And he said, yeah, do you think you'll put on a great match with those guys? And they said, no, we want to beat them up. We want to punch them in their face. And I was just like, this works. This is what wrestling fans want to see when they're talking about pro wrestling. These guys are not out here to put on a great match. They're here to win. They want to beat them. So FTR starts talking all these tag teams, and in the middle of it, here come the Butcher and Blade. Number one, if I saw those dudes dressed like that coming down the stairs, I would run personally. But the Butcher and Blade come down in their new attire, and I like the fact that they were angry. They were mad. They got beat up by FTR last week. Why wouldn't they be angry? This is what I want to see from wrestling storylines. Continue the storyline. Even when someone gets beat up, you can do a match later. If you plan this stuff, it actually works. And to me, kudos right here. They did a really good job of planting the seeds last week, and these guys were ready to fight. I believe a water bottle got thrown at Butcher and Blade. They were ready to go. So it looks like FTR's first matchup is going to be with Butcher and Blade. Can't wait. This is going to be a fight that we want to see, and I think it's a great way to start off FTR in AEW. Now, I know Casey's a big fan of the Butcher and Blade. I really feel like they got to find a role for them, and I was just thinking, how would you guys feel if Butcher and Blade got put into like this APA type of role where they are bodyguards for whoever is willing to pay them? And they could kind of be the badasses for AEW, just taking people out, taking names. I mean, they don't have to win all the time, but they could just beat people down. Nobody's doing anything on their watch. I don't know if that's the right way to build them. If you guys have some suggestions, or give me your thoughts on the Butcher and Blade right now, or FTR. Let's see here. Casey says, Darby chopping down the Giant. He will have to against Cage. Connor, what is your biggest pet peeve about AEW and NXT fans on Twitter? Connor, I'll answer that now for you. Biggest pet peeve is that you can't like both. I think that AEW and NXT are both really good shows. I don't know. I like pro wrestling, man. I'm not here to bicker back and forth. Like, every week someone leaves a thumbs down on the video. I don't care. But at the same token, I'm like, why, dude? Just because it said AEW? I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's the same thing if I do a WWE video. Like, why leave a thumbs down? If you don't like it, keep it moving, you know? That's just how I feel. You can like wrestling, all right? I like New Japan as well. I just enjoy watching pro wrestling. When it's good, it's the best entertainment to me. B-Boy Skyline wrote, Buffalo, Butcher and Blade, Buffalo represent. Let's see here. Truly the Ace, just business. Derek said he'd be down for that for the Butcher and Blade. I think that'd be a good role for them. They're just guys who will do whatever for money, you know? Like, hey, I'll watch your back. And eventually you could do a babyface segment kind of like you did with Bradshaw and Farouk back in the day, you know? And Derek, they don't have to be exactly like the APA with the fake door and the office and everything else and drink beer. But I'm just saying that you could have these guys just be henchmen and they're like, you got the money? Okay, we got your back then tonight. Don't worry about it. And I think that would be a good role for them. They don't have to wrestle every week. They could kind of just sit outside the ring and make sure people don't interfere. Whatever it may be, set up some segments for heels to get heat for right now. Casey said, if that means the Butcher and Blade are racking up some W's, then I'm all for it, showing them as badasses. Hear you. Not repeating what Derek said about Impact Wrestling. Stay focused, Derek. We find out matches for next week. So next week we've got Colt Cabana versus Sammy. We've got Mark Quinn challenging whoever wins the TNT Championship match later on tonight. Butcher and Blade versus FTR, and PNP and Hager taking on the team of Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. 4 matches, I think, quality. I'm happy to see them. Not mad at it at all. B-Boy Skyline said, now if they wear Bills gear and put people through tables, the Butcher and Blade Bills Mafia. I don't think they're doing that, and that's Nyla's gimmick right now, putting people through tables. Bean says for sure they even came in like that with MJF paying them, so it's already set up a bit. That's what made me think of it, Beans. Cool point. We know the card for next week. Everything's set up. TNT Championship. We've got Cody, the champion with AA, Arn Anderson, the coach, versus Jungle Boy in this match. Lots of old school wrestling feels tonight. I felt like in a lot of these matches, both people got over. I'm going to say it, Cody and Jungle Boy. In this match, both guys got over. Britt Baker, Big Swole, both people got over. Who was it? Big Swole, Nyla Rose. I felt both people got over. It was just a lot of that tonight. And there were some dominant squash matches at the same time. Even with Kip Sabian in them in the opening match of the night. Both teams got over. I like it. Job well done. So we see this. Lots of old school feeling wrestling tonight on the card. At one point, Jungle Boy ends up on the outside in the face of MJF after he threw Cody's head into a wall. And they really show Jungle Boy losing his focus and getting in MJF's face. But how could you not? Who doesn't want to take a swipe at the guy, right? So MJF gets him off track a little bit, but he stays focused. Cody is then shown. Cody is bleeding. He is cut open from his head. The blood is going into his eyes. This is classic pro wrestling 101. To me, once I saw that, I was like, oh, here we go. And off to the races this match went. They had some really good wrestling in this, with Jungle Boy getting caught by power slams. Jungle Boy doing things that was just so athletic and made him look good. Cody Rhodes is one of my favorites in AEW. He does a great job cutting promos, telling a story. He's got like the all-around package for what I like in pro wrestling. Storytelling, good matches, promo ability. Like, these are all of the things that make you a 5-tool player in pro wrestling. And Cody's got it, man. He's got it. I'm telling you. This dude is one of the best telling a story. So the blood's in his eyes and everything else. And if you guys remember, right before the commercial break, Cody moved a table. It was the timekeeper's table. And he kind of moved it out of the way so he can get Jungle Boy, who was in the crowd, who he threw on top of Billy and Austin Gunn for some reason. Don't know what was up with Cody tonight. He showed some heel tendencies a little bit in this match. Even with the weight belt, when it looked like he was going to beat Jungle Boy with it, but he didn't. Back and forth happens in this match. Cody's bleeding. They tease at one point the table. They're both on top of the top rope for the table spot. Jungle Boy actually falls on top of Cody through the table. Cody's hurting real bad. Eventually, Jungle Boy's thrown into the ring. Cody is going in to do a sunset flip. They do the classic Bret Hart a la British Bulldog spot where Jungle Boy pins him, has his legs hooked. 1, 2, Cody kicks out. He did not plant him all the way down like Bulldog did Bret. Unfortunately, he kicks out. Cody Rhodes then reverses Jungle Boy's, I think he was looking for a clothesline, into a crossroads, spikes Jungle Boy on top of his head, pins him 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes whispers something to Jungle Boy. I'm sure he told him hell of a match. This is Jungle Boy's best match on Dynamite. Was this match better than MJF versus Jungle Boy? I'm going to say no. I think if it had more time, it could have been. But it was on a television show. So to me, Jungle Boy's best match here. I think this was better than the 10-minute challenge with Jericho. This was great. Best Jungle Boy match on Dynamite. So we find out next week it's going to be Cody versus Marquen here next week. And that's it for Dynamite, guys. Let's see what everyone's saying. Guys, leave me the thumbs up, thumbs down right now for what you thought of Dynamite. I'm going to say this was a thumbs up show. I had fun watching it, enjoyed it. I don't think there's been a show that's gotten a full-blown thumbs down. I've had some thumbs in the middle type shows, but other than that, that's it. And I'm sorry, my throat is killing me tonight. Yeah. So let's see here what everybody was saying. how far did you guys have been going in? Let's see here. That's what Bean said in the last segment here. Okay, Connor said, I hope Cage beats Moxley at Fyter Fest just to shake everything up rather than see the big guy lose again to Mox. Moxley's in a good spot too, though. Moxley's undefeated. They have a lot of faith in him. Broken says old school wrestling. Connor says, Arn Anderson signed a new multi-year deal tonight. Oh, I did not know that. Thank you, Connor. He said, I think MJF and Jungle Boy will be the Cena Orton of AEW, young guys to become top healer faces. Casey said, Cody's so good, love him, and Jungle Boy's got to showcase his skill, future champ. Casey, 100% on point. I agree with you, Connor, as well. I think there's a few other in that mix, though, like Darby. There's Scorpio Sky. You got a lot of guys who could fill that top role. And I feel like Scorpio's got to do it sooner than later, too, when it comes to it. Hold on, everybody. I'm getting so many messages here. Jesus said no, but I agree with you. More time, it could have been damn good shit, Conrad. Jungle Boy is so good at such a young age. Casey said thumbs up. Rockstar said thumbs up for the show. Skyline said Cody putting people over. Six said I didn't feel like the Razor job was needed for this match. I think it was, Sick. I think it made Jungle Boy tougher because to me, the purpose of it was Jungle Boy turned it up a notch in that part of the match. With Jim Ross, I don't know if you paid attention to this, but he started punching Cody in the face like immediately when he saw the blood. And Jim Ross was like, that's a different side of Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy wants this match. And it made me feel like, okay, they're showing like Jungle Boy will do whatever he has to do to win this. He's not going to take it easy on Cody. I thought it was good. And it's also the first television, the TNT title match, and they had to kind of bring it up to a new level here. Like, hey, this was a good match. Remember this first ever TNT championship match between Cody Rhodes and Jungle Boy? This is something that could be on future DVDs or if they're going to have a channel or whatever later. B-Boy Skyline said thumbs up. Jesus, thumbs up. Jesus said 9 out of 10 show for him. That's a high rating. Truly the A said thumbs up. Connor, lots of thumbs up. Derek, 4 thumbs up. Jesus said, I wonder if MJF is taking the TNT belt or the AEW belt. I see MJF as the world champ before this. Yes. Oh, Bean said thumbs up too. The people were feeling this tonight, man. I love it. I love it. Now, I talked about this earlier. We're not going to talk about anything else. I know next week we got Cody versus Mark Quinn. You guys know we'll be doing a review here for AEW Dynamite, so make sure you check in with us. We'll talk about the show afterwards. Hopefully Derek will be back and he's able to join us again. Tomorrow I will be doing a show for NXT TakeOver in Your House. I know I have it up right now. I have to figure out what time and when I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to end up doing it earlier in the day, so it might be at like 4 or 5 o'clock. So just prepare yourselves for it. If not, just check it out later if you're busy during that time. I just want to get a little quick preview up for the NXT TakeOver in Your House show this Sunday, and we're also going to have a review this Sunday, so make sure you guys check that out as well. But I wanted to take a second out of this show because I want to say that I know a lot of people in AEW showed up to represent for the Black Lives Matter movement and everything else that's going on in the world today. If you guys follow me for a long time, or if you know me, I am the last person to talk about politics, social issues, or anything else. I try to keep everything professional on my social media, and everything that's going on in the world today, from, I know the COVID stuff had some people in an uproar, but everything that happened with George Floyd, that whole incident, for 9 minutes, a police officer put his knee on a black man's neck, and so many things have happened since then. They said that it wasn't because of that why he passed away. It was other natural causes and things like that. I don't know. I don't care. There's a lot of misinformation on social media when it comes to this stuff. what I do care about is what happened. As someone, I'm biracial, for anybody who doesn't know. I have a lot of different nationalities, ethnicities, whatever you want to call it in me. There's so many, I couldn't even tell you everything. But one thing that I do know is that from a very young age, I've always known that I will be friends with anybody. I've had some of my greatest friends ever have been just kids who I talked wrestling with. I didn't care if you were white, black, Indian, Asian, Chinese. I know Asian and Chinese are the same thing. But it didn't matter where you came from. If you liked sports, if you liked wrestling, whatever as a kid, I knew that I liked you. And a lot of these threads that have been coming up with the Black Lives Matter movement really put into perspective thinking about everything that's been going on. And some of the threads, I saw one that said, what was the first time you ever experienced racism? And I feel like it's an important issue to talk about with my platform because I've always avoided these types of conversations before. And I really have a lot of things to say about it. The problem is that I don't want to say them on social media to where people will see it. But once all this happened with George Floyd, I felt like we had to stand up as a community, as a person, an individual, and say, Black Lives Matter. I'm half black. And I don't care what anybody says. I've always identified as a black man because that's what I am. And I couldn't be quiet anymore. I couldn't not say something anymore. And when I started seeing those threads of what was your first racist experience, and I was reading some of my friends' thoughts on these things, and mine came down to being asked in school what race you are. All the time since kindergarten and preschool. I just remember kids coming up to me, hey, what are you? And I'm like, what do you mean, what am I? And they're like, what are you? You know, are you this? Are you that? And you would explain it to people, but then you become the butt end of jokes for whatever they wanted the joke to be about. Or, they would call you a little sly name like an Oreo or something else like that. I'm trying not to say anything crazy that'll get us in trouble on here. So I just don't know what to say to some of those things, right? And all of that stuff just bothers me. We even talked about stuff with police. When was the first time that an officer pulled a weapon on you? Those were sad things to read as well. And we all had stories, all of our friends, and even some when you weren't with them that day when it happened. You knew that it was true, and everybody remembers it. It plays over and over and over in your mind again when you see that. And yeah, man, it just really hurts to think about that stuff and to see a lot of this stuff happening. And I think that it's important to use this platform for good. You may not agree with me. That's fine and dandy. You may not like what I have to say about it. If you want to unsubscribe, cool. It's what it is. If you don't want to follow the wrestling pages, that's fine. I'm not going to bring all that stuff into there either. But I'm letting you know that I do stand up for this. And I do think we need to put an end to police brutality. Put an end to racism. And I'm a big believer in putting an end to systemic oppression. I don't know if people understand what this stuff is or what it means, but there are a lot of things that people can just talk about. And I've had some good conversations with people who are in this chat right now. I saw some people drop out of here. That's fine. Maybe they were busy. They had things to do. But it's important to me, and I never really wanted to use this platform for political and social movements. The show was called Everything Pro Wrestling for a reason. But the show was also part of me. And I thought that tonight would be an important night to bring it up. I even thought about doing an entire separate podcast to talk about this. But no, I felt like AEW brought it up, and I thought this would be a good podcast to bring it up on. And I'm not going to go over it too much tonight, but I've been participating in some of this stuff on social media, and I completely understand it. And it feels good to talk about it with other people. It feels good to just get their thoughts and perspectives on things. And there's a lot of false information out there. Don't think everything that you see is true right away. Research it. It takes a few seconds to do a Google search. It takes a few seconds to find more videos showing what really happened when you guys see some of this stuff. Some of it good on one side, good on another side. It just depends on how you feel about the situation. And right now, I'm willing to talk about it with you guys. I'm trying to find some of the stuff that I've shared. Since then, I've shared like Killer Mike's press conference in Atlanta. I thought Killer Mike had some really good messages in his speech. I shared when the toddler besties ran towards each other. Just wonderful to see. Kids are the greatest reminder in life of the things that we're taught and you think are important. And then kids, you just watch them and you're like, there's nothing more important than that. Like, kids don't care about money. You know, as an adult, we all do. We know we need money to live and everything else, but kids don't care about money. None of that stuff matters to them. And it's just kind of like a constant reminder. I'm like, should I be caring about money as much as I do? I mean, you got to be smart about it, but at the same time, you're like, this kid's happy if he just had a plastic ball in his hand. And he's just like, oh, okay, great. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just having the intern and it reminds me of that. I even brought up things for people to look up. If you're somebody who doesn't know anything about this and you want to educate yourself, Big E Langston brought up some good things. And I know about all these things, but I'm going to share them with you. 1921, Black Wall Street. It would happen in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Google that. Look into the prison industrial complex and the disproportionate imprisonment of black men and brown people. Look at those numbers. Research Contil Pro and the LA crack epidemic. Look into the 1985 police bombing of Philadelphia neighborhood. There are so many things that you guys can look into, and imagine having these conversations with your kids about how to act around police. It's completely different depending on what your race is. I was always taught, man, make sure that you don't ask for trouble. Don't look for trouble. Don't give them any reason to beat you down, pull you out the car, whatever. And sometimes that stuff's unavoidable. If you've ever been pulled over and asked, like, well, why did you pull me over, officer? Oh, we were looking for someone that fit your description. Okay. Just weird things like that. Excuse me again. Oh, man, the throat is killing me tonight. Sorry again, guys. I even talked about being deep in thought today, and I brought up boycotting. People were wondering, well, what's the next step after all this happens? You can't protest every day. People aren't going to keep listening to it, you know? And if you want to be out there every day, do it. I don't want this to be something that people forget about next week. Like, oh, this doesn't matter anymore. No, this matters now. And people need to take a stand and do something about it. This is the biggest support that I think I've ever seen for something. This cannot die because people just want to forget about it. This needs to be a focal point, and this does not go away until something changes. It doesn't matter who makes the changes. If people aren't doing right, I'll vote you out. I will exercise my right to vote because that's what we have it for. We are stronger in numbers as well. Imagine a group of people. African Americans make up 17% of the population. And with a lot of people who are joining in on this, I'm pretty sure it's higher than that. Imagine places boycotting places that don't support what we need here. It's not the best way to go about things. And I don't know if you can get in trouble for that. I haven't said any specific places, but if you want to do that, that's how you do it. And Ben and Jerry's, I applaud them for taking a direct approach about Black Lives Matter and ending white supremacy of all these racist groups. This is just what it is. And I see some people talking in the chat, and I'm going to get back to your points, guys. I promise you. Ben and Jerry's made me really happy. I put out a pretty good video about systematic racism. If you guys want any of this stuff, I'm more than happy to share it with you. The video is actually kid friendly. I put it up because it has cartoon images and you can show your kids and teach them about this as well. Talking about it, I think, feels so good. It's one of those things where I've talked about it with Derek in the chat, Casey in the chat, Rob, Lauren. You guys know how I feel when it comes to this stuff. I've been saying it for years. And it feels good to finally be able to say it like in front of everybody on social media. Like, what happens to black people in this country is bullshit and it needs to stop. It needs to be reversed and flipped. And I'm going to say this too to everybody who is still in the chat. Let me, pull this back up. I want you guys to know that I love you. I love everybody in the chat. I don't care if you've made fun of me, if you've dogged me, if you said like, oh, that's part of life, man. All right. I know at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you guys got my back. I got your back. That's how we have to be. We have to work together. And that's what everything pro wrestling was built upon. It wasn't just to be about, oh, it's this, it's that, it's about me. How am I going to make money? No, this is a side thing that I do. This is for fun. I put a lot of time into this too. And with the help of Rob, Derek, Casey, people who come up on the show, Foul, Queen, JPQ, Josh Robinson, all those people. When I saw everybody switch their picture off yesterday to the blackout, it made me feel so good. I woke up knowing I was going to do that, and I saw Josh doing it. Then I saw Queen doing it, and nobody even had to say a word, and we all had each other's back. And that's what I love about the wrestling community. We talk a lot of shit about this community and how toxic it is, but I know that we all have each other's back. And even more importantly, I love the people that are in this chat, man. We have to work together on this. This is like a serious issue. Like, if you don't believe me, I'm one of the most level-headed people you could talk to about this stuff. I try to see things on both sides. I try to understand this. And are you going to disagree with me maybe at the end of the day on how to do it? Yes. But we can respect each other and listen to each other's opinions. And that's what matters the most when it comes to this. And I'm going back up right now to see what people are in here saying, so that make sure your voices are heard too, because everything pro wrestling, the mantra, what it's all about, I guess the mission or vision, if you want to say, it's a show by the fans for the fans. The fan interaction is what keeps this thing going. I read what you guys have to say. It's important because you guys obviously have a voice when it comes to this. And as long as you guys are keeping it respectful, I will read that. Come on. Did I just go too far down? I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss anything that you guys said here. Let's see. Derek said it's inevitable. I'll be back. Good to hear. Derek had to take care of some Dark Order business. I feel you, Conrad. Same here. Appreciate that, Jesus. Casey said, Conrad, you are my brother. I love you. I hear you, and I will always support you. Thank you, Casey. Let's see. Connor says, I'm Irish/Danish. I'll never know how you feel, but want you to know that I will stand by every person in trouble. We are human, and that's the only race that matters. Stay strong. Thank you, Connor. Derek said, let's chill with the BS. We're all family, man. Anyone who has hate in their blood needs to grow the F up. Enough is enough. We have bigger things to worry about. Casey said, I agree, Derek. I'm happy to have met you through this. You're a good dude. Derek agrees with Casey. I love it. Seeing it. Truly, the A said, we are all family. I agree with that. Casey said, one of the biggest things people can do is vote. Make sure you guys are registered to vote and use your voice. Rob put up the fist. Thank you, Rob. Sick agrees about going out there and voting. Appreciate you guys. Connor says, I always try to treat everyone with respect no matter what race they are. Thank you, Connor, for that. Bean said, everyone deserves love and positivity. Screw the hate. Much love to everyone. I'm so glad to be a part of EPW. And we're happy to have everyone out here talking about this. I know that I've been trying to wanting these shows, to go a little bit shorter, but tonight I felt like we had to talk about this. We had to speak about this. And I love this brand. I love the people that support this brand. I love the wrestling community, and I love pro wrestling. And I'm happy to see that a lot of pro wrestling is picking this up and embracing it. I'm not going to get into the politics of everything, because when push comes to shove, we're going to see who has our back. And now it's time to figure out what we're going to do next and what the next move is going to be. This is, like I said, this doesn't end today. We cannot let this end today. We need to have a focus on it. Are you going to go back and watch Wrestling Talk Sports? Absolutely. Live your life, man. That's what we're supposed to do. But don't forget about this. It's a very important thing to a lot of people, and we need to stay united when it comes to this, and I want to see changes. EPW, I'm going to leave it on that note tonight. Thank you guys so much. I will be back tomorrow with preview and predictions of NXT TakeOver in Your House. Review on Sunday. I look forward to this, and I'm thankful for all of you. And we're going to end on that note. I'm happy to have you guys. Sick just said, if we want change, vote. That's our superpower as Americans. It is, Sick. It is. But these people also have to do something about it as well. And we're going to have to get some money and some backing behind that too. And it's a long process. Like I said, we could talk about this for days and days and days and days. But I want to see something change. Thank you, everybody, and everything pro wrestling. Thank you for listening to me talk about this. This is going to stay in the podcast version as well. If you support that, drop me a message. You guys can follow me on Twitter at EPW Show. Drop me a line. Show me some love. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening to me talk about this. And we're going to end this with Black Lives Matter.
Are you looking for the newest and hottest in the world of pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 6,000 hours of the best events from over 150 of your favorite promotions from 20 different countries around the globe. Brands like Progress Wrestling, Evolve Wrestling, Combat Zone, Defy, PCW Ultra, PWX, Over the Top, Shine, and hundreds of others with fresh content added every day for only $5.99 per month. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
Everything Pro Wrestling, it's your boys from the Everything College Basketball Podcast and Facebook group. I'm Josh Burton, letting you all know that if you like the college game, that there's only one spot to come find all you need to know.
Yep, Josh, Peyton, and myself, Tyler. We are the three voices of ECB podcast and Facebook group. Peyton, tell them where they can find us and listen to us at.
Well, Tyler, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all other podcast hosting sites. Also, go join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups like Everything College Basketball.
So if you want everything you need to know about the collegiate game or have a passion for it, there's only one spot that you need to check out on a weekly basis or a daily basis with the Facebook group. That's Everything College Basketball. Now let's get back to Conrad informing you on everything pro wrestling and the workings around it.
Brother.
Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinions, the lesson, yes. By the fans, for the fans, not many in this can understand, this the podcast to show you who I am, Conrad Cushman, the legend in the plans, please listen every day to the showcase, the opinions and knowledge that anyone can take, showing you how it is done, proving I am number one, what a legend becomes. This is now my time to show you that I am here. This podcast just to make it loud and clear. By the fans, for the fans, not many who's here can understand everything pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinion and the lesson, yes. Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinions, the lesson, yes.